we don't take care of ourselves first, our mindset, our physical, our mental, our spirit, right? All of these things, we can't show up as our best self. And it's okay. I want to empower you, whoever is listening. It is okay for you to have you time. It is okay to ask for that, because your body, you need it. You need it. And so that is one thing as moms that we give up right away. We're like, just put that aside. But I just had to say that. It was just on my heart.
All right, this is Tiffany Lorraine Galloway. Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, I'm this little icon right here. Having some technical issues. Talk about being the resilient mother. We are making this episode happen. And I was gone and they started. I'm like, wait, we're not recording yet. Wait. So I had to get in here, figure this out. So I'm just making sure this works before I dart out. And I want to introduce you officially to my new co-host, Catherine Tyson, who is going to be taking over this interview for me today. This is officially her first one that she's going to be taking over for me. And we're going to be co-hosting and doing all sorts of new things. So be watching for that. But hey, resilience, we are making this happen. I have no internet. I'm on my phone. Like everything has gotten in the way with this today. We've had people not show up. Like I can't tell you. So this is obviously meant to be an important message that needs to get out there. So we're going to make that happen. All right. I am going to dart out of here. Over to you, Catherine.
Hi, thank you. And that's not today, Satan. Let's start with that because it has been something. Tiffany is so right. Hi, everyone. Morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. I am Catherine Tyson Sewell, and I am the co-host, the proud co-host of the Resilient Mother podcast. I'm so excited to be a part of this. I'm so excited that Tiffany reached out to me, and my goodness, I'm psyched. We want to do some really great, fun things. We want to create the community, continue with the community that Tiffany has created. She is so awesome, and she has done so much. I don't know how she's done as much as she's done with 3 children by herself. Trust me, she is now. And speaking of just a badass, right? We got Miss Kim Rogne, because you talk about being a badass mama. And I love that because I have been rifling through your stuff, and I'm just very excited to talk to you. Welcome to the Resilient Mother podcast. We're talking about empowerment, resiliency, and empowerment, and that is right up your alley. Mm-hmm. So welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Catherine. I'm so excited and glad to hear that Tiffany has a co-host. Yes, we all need support as resilient mothers. So so I'm going to answer your question that you asked me offline. At the bottom of my name, it says "for the love of." Right. So I'll just give a little background. So I am the CEO and owner of For the Love Of. We are a personal and professional development company. I am a keynote motivational speaker, a #1 author of my journal, For the Love of Self. And also I'm a certified high performance coach. And when I created the company, really my mindset around it was, we all have different for the love ofs because we go through these phases in our life. And so you get to fill in the blank. Is it for the love of being a great mama? Is it for the love of building a business? Is it for the love of, empowerment? Is it for the love of sleep? Could all use a little bit more of that. And it just allows you to fill in the blank. And it's just a fun way to be able to talk about how we can show up as our best self. And so that's a little bit about myself. And started my company 2 years ago, and it's just been a whirlwind. It's been super fun.
Yeah, no, it really is a very catchy title that I love because you're right. You can put whatever that means to you, right? And this month we're talking about just resiliency. We're talking about love. We're talking about, how do you take care of yourself? How do you empower yourself as a mom? You're a working mom. And, the mothers that are watching us that are feeling so overwhelmed or feel like they're in this by themselves, like, absolutely not. We have walked this road and we are here to support each other and to to build that community because we all need it. So people need to follow you as well. So we want you to definitely tell people where they can catch you and how they can connect with you also. Now, I saw some things on your Instagram that I thought was hilarious. First of all, I love your Instagram. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
I love what you're doing. I love the grid because I have a grown daughter that's telling me, Mommy, you got to fix your grid. In the 80s, it might have been fix a grill, but it's a grid.
Like, what are we talking about here, girl?
But 2024, I got to fix my grid. So I like your grid because it does say exactly what you're about. And one of the things that I saw, it was a video that you were doing, and you said, what do you love about growing older? Now, I love that for an empowerment conversation, because honestly, the older that I get, the younger people are getting for some reason. And I'm looking around and I'm like, oh my goodness gracious. And it almost feels like older people are being pushed in the corner. And that's probably how our mothers felt or our grandmothers felt, but now here we are. So tell me, what are some of the things that you love about getting older? Because they can catch that video on Instagram. But tell me.
Yes, thank you. I love that question so much. And oh, by the way, I'm 51. And so I have 2 daughters. They are semi-adulting because they're still on the payroll. So I call them semi-adulting, like we're still on the cell phone plan, paying for the insurance. One does have a full-time job, one in college. But I can relate. I can relate so much about the struggles and the guilt and the just constant comparison of being a working mom and feeling like you're never doing enough. I can also relate to what it feels like to be a single mom. My husband was a firefighter for 30 years. And when he worked, it was 24 hours and 48 hours and 96 hours. And I know what that feels like. And I just, being, to me, having empowerment and being a resilient mom is really about embracing every phase and stage along the way. Because you are, right? You're getting older, your kids are getting older. And so when I started this company 2 years ago at the age of 50, right? Which I think back to when I was in my 30s, I was like 50 was like ancient. And I feel like all of the experience, all of the knowledge, all of the adulting relationship I have with my children, all of that I can just roll up and bring to young moms and hopefully share some wisdom, right? Like back in the day when all the moms would get together and knit or whatever they do with those sticks. Is it knitting? Is it crocheting? I don't know. I don't do those things. But anyway, why would we not want to share our experience as we get older and then embrace who we are? That's the biggest thing that I have worked on for many, many years. Like you talk about the grid on social media. I don't do that myself. Here's the other thing. We cannot do it alone. I have help, just like I want to ask for help at home, just like in our lives in order for us to be empowered and be resilient mothers and humans on this earth. We're not meant to do it alone. Right. And it can feel very lonely sometimes, like we're the only one that is experiencing it. And I love that you're here, Catherine. And I love that Tiffany is putting this together. And the more that we can do this and share our stories and our experience and lift each other up, that's how we're going to become better humans and better moms. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? We also need to I think, almost like adopt the village mentality a lot more than we've kind of come away from that. And I know social media is amazing, but it also has given us this idea about reality that's not real. And so we're out of touch with each other. So we need to really embrace one another and continue, to just lift each other up and share our successes. Because I think sharing our successes is very, very important, as well as, you share us with your network. We share you with our network. You share your talents with us. You share your stories with us, because you're absolutely right. We and people don't like when I say this, but I say we are the elders now. We're the elders. You got to sit at the feet of the elders. Well, we're the elders. So, and we do know a lot of stuff. Yeah. And we should want to share that, because I always think about the young women that, I have recently become a national director for a pageant. So I've been working
Oh,
with
how
a lot of
interesting.
beautiful, beautiful young women. My daughter was a Miss Universe Cayman Islands in 2018.
Wow.
And she's now Miss Global International Cayman Islands, and she got second runner up in the international pageant. And so I'm always surrounded by young women, it seems like in the last few years. And as beautiful as they are, they don't know it. They don't feel it. They're not embracing it. And on this side of life, you're like, girl, stop it. You are everything. Like, don't let anyone tell you any different. And so I feel like the same way that we can see how much they are or how much they have to offer is the same way that we have to hold their hand and walk through life.
Yeah.
But there's so much times I see older women that are competing with 24-year-old. Why are you competing with a 24-year-old? Are you crazy?
No, no.
Don't do that. And that's what I love about, when you talked about things you loved about getting older and you talk about being wiser. I love that because, hello, why are we competing with the 24-year-old? We were there. We've been there. They've not been here though. So in every stage of life, we do have to bring our gifts and bring our talents and just walk together.
I love that. And I think too, we can also learn something from them, right? And so kind of accidentally, like I didn't necessarily right away think that my focus would be just working moms. And it's not just working moms. I work with all different kind of clients, but I chose to slow down a little bit more and listen. And just every time I was speaking, and it seemed to be, I was attracting the working mom, right? And I about a year ago, I had sent out a survey to everybody that I knew who were moms. And I was just like, hey, I'm just, kind of thinking of building out this course specifically for working moms, but I just want to get a feel, right? I am not kidding you, Catherine. The amount of responses that I got from just doing a post, from sending out, just a Google form, I got hundreds of responses.
Wow.
And there was this resounding, it was just this repeated over and over of, I'm not doing enough. I feel guilty. When I'm at work, I think I should be at home. When I'm at home, I think I should be at work.
Absolutely.
The balance, and just, it was over and over and over again. And I thought, well, one, I just learned something from the younger mom, right? And their challenges. And then I thought, okay, I gotta do something about this. Like, I need to teach women and moms how to not have to carry the weight of everything on their shoulders.
Right.
Like, who made this rule that it was your job, not your job, but your worth, your worth was connected to you doing everything.
Everything.
And it's been super fun I just had my first launch and just kind of figure it out and hear, right, what others are experiencing who are newer moms. And it's been super fun for them to learn how to communicate and actually ask for help. Kind of going back to what you said, it takes a village. It does.
Yeah.
It does.
It does. And stop kicking your own butt.
Yes.
Stop doing that. Because, and I always say that, like, even, in raising my children as a single mother, preparing them for the world, because I know the world is ready to knock them around and tell them that they're not this or this, they're not enough of this and I was ready. I'm like, I'm filling you guys up. So when you walk out that door, you can say, oh, stop it, I am beautiful. Oh, stop it, I'm amazing. Oh, stop it. and I have my adult children telling me that now, like, you always did that. And, we love that because we had this sense of self that a lot of our friends didn't have. So I think stop kicking your own butt. And that's it. When we're talking to young mothers, and young women that have not walked the roads that we've walked already.
Yes.
We have some we can. Now that leads me to another thing that I found on your Instagram is that you said, I'm going to read it here. 6 things I would seriously tell my younger self to stop freaking out about. I love that. I want you to tell us those 6 things, because that is empowerment.
Oh my gosh, you have to remind me. What did I say? Do you remember? Yeah, I didn't even.
Well, one is being the perfect mom.
Oh gosh.
Perfect moms don't exist.
Yes.
That's one.
Yes.
That's number one.
Yes.
Okay. So.
Yeah. Okay. So read them off to me, and then we're going to talk about it because I have to refresh my memory.
Okay. So being the perfect mom does not exist. The kids are going to survive without you being Pinterest worthy 24/7. Number two, keeping a spotless house. Nobody cares.
Okay. Oh gosh.
Yes. Number three, saying no. You're not a superhero. You don't need to be.
Yes.
Number four, missing a school event, missed a recital. You're doing your best. They'll forget the school assembly, but they'll never forget all the love and support you gave them.
Yes.
Number five, career setbacks. That perfect career, it's more like a roller coaster with lots of dips. Number six, worrying about the future. Guess what? The future has a mind of its own.
Okay. Yes. Well, we are going to just pick this apart. This is going to be so amazing.
Talk about it.
Okay. I forgot what I had posted because, when you're posting every day and coming up with this, you're like, what did I actually say? Okay. So let's just pick apart the perfect. I was thinking about this before even coming on, and I was thinking about the whole title of Resilient Mother, and I love analogies. I'm always coming up with analogies. And I was picturing myself, my children, 5 and 7 years old, and wanting to bake Christmas cookies and getting everything out, the sprinkles, the everything. We're going to follow, grandma's recipe. It's going to be this beautiful experience. And it just goes array, right? Sprinkles everywhere, flowers everywhere. I clearly remember doing this with my daughters. I remember that. And what I pictured in my head, right? Like the movie, it really wasn't happening that way, right? And that's where the perfect is, right? Like for some in Pinterest, get off that. Who does that? Who, and especially if you're also working, right? And not that you're not working inside. Of course you are. But if you got that in addition, right? And so that alone, that example of making the Christmas cookies and how it went awry, right? And being awry, I should say, and how, what I pictured in my head didn't really happen, and just letting go and embracing the non-perfectness makes me think of that, and keeping the house spotless. So I'm just going to share one of the things that I coach around when I'm talking to working moms is by the time your kids are maybe 7, there is so much that they can do. When we talk about being resilient mothers, let's talk about resilient children.
Teach our children what resilience is.
Correct.
Exactly.
Because you don't have to. Yes, you don't have to do it all. And I interviewed my daughters because I CEO'd my home. So whenever I was running the household, I was like, well, how would a CEO think? Would a CEO do everything? No, they wouldn't. And so there were things that they did from the age of 7. They were doing their own laundry. We packed lunches together because I wanted to teach them nutrition along the way. And I would pack my lunch and they would pack their lunch. And why am I going to make this sandwich if they're not even going to eat it? And so we did all of these things like CEO of the home. We did these budgets when we would go back to school shopping, and then we would scan it. And they would have to look at the dollars, and they would have to learn to put something back and da. And so I interviewed them about 6 months ago. And I asked them about this. And I was like, hey, I'm gathering material for my working mom's course. And they loved it. They were like, Mom, you have no idea when we went to college how much kids didn't know what to do or how to do laundry or even. Yes. Right. And so when I think about this list, right, it's really like the village of the house, right? Yeah. Or the missing the school. Oh my gosh, Catherine, I will never forget. I sent my daughters to school. We used to live next door to the elementary school. And it was right after Christmas time. Like you normally go back here in Wisconsin, January 2nd or whatever. And for whatever reason, they weren't going back on January 2nd. It was like the next day. And they're literally knocking on the neighbor's door. They walked to school with their neighbors, right? Knock, knock, knock. Come on. We're all going to walk to school together. Knock, knock, knock. The whole family comes down in their pajamas.
What are you guys doing? What's that?
They're like, why are you here? School's not till tomorrow. Okay. Right. So they didn't necessarily miss school, but there were many, many times where I was like, okay, girl, you
We're
know,
so ready.
we do the best that we can. We do the best that we can.
No, absolutely. And you know what? It's funny that you say that, because in my and so I've written a couple of books, and the last book, it's called Single Mama, Powerful Not Pitiful, and that is what I talk about. That is my biggest thing. My biggest thing is you're raising future adults.
Yes,
that's what you're doing, and you're raising people that need to do okay without you. They need to do okay in the world. You need to ensure that whatever it is that you're teaching them, that it's not you're not creating helpless people so that they're out in the world and they don't know how to hold a job, they don't know how to get a job, they don't know how to behave themselves in certain situations. So, like you're talking about, your 7-year-olds, are helping around the house. Like, you absolutely, that's your responsibility as a parent, and that is empowerment. That is the
yes
of empowerment, because now you can sit back. And I say this too. I'd say, I don't want to cry tears of guilt. If I cry, it's going to be because they're my kids and I didn't want something to happen, or whatever. But it will not be because I did not try my best to instill in them the best foundational things, the things that they need to survive in this world. Because as much as we love them, they are growing and going. So
yes, I love that.
Equipping your kids, that is what we need to do as parents, as mothers. That's resiliency, that's empowerment. So I love that. I love that. I hope you write a book about that, because that's awesome. A lot of people see these cute little people and they don't realize that one day they're going to be grown-ups.
Yeah. And I love to also being willing to have the conversation and the communication of, letting your children know this is the first time I've had a 16-year-old as well.
Right.
Oh, and so it's the open communication of being able to look in the mirror. Right. And I am, anybody listening to this podcast clearly is growth minded and believes in lifelong growing and learning. And I'm a voracious learner, like always reading and always taking in information. And no matter how much information you take in about parenting and how to communicate, until you're in it, right? And so it's just being
faced with that issue,
right? Like, this is all new to me too, honey. Like, let's sit down, let's talk about this, and let's figure out how we can solve this together, right? Again, it's doing it together, not I'm here, you're here. It's like, okay, let's figure this out, right? And let's get there together so we can be the best that we can be. So
that is so funny that you said that, because I remember there was one moment with one of my sons, 16 years old at the time, and I went to drop him off at a party, and I didn't like what was happening outside. It was a lot of outside stuff happening, and the party's inside. And I was like, so why are all these kids out here? And it's funny, it's a boy, right? And there's all these little girls with like little, just nothing else.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like thinking to myself, where's their mother? And I started noticing like cars picking them up. So they must have told their mom they're going to this party, but they were actually getting picked up by their boyfriends who could drive. So I said to my son, he got out the car and he was going, I said, get back in this car right now. He's like, Mommy, what are you doing? I was like, get in this car right now. And he gets in the car and they're driving away, and we both start crying. Because he's like, you're so embarrassing. Everybody's and I was crying. I was like, I know I am. And I'm so sorry. But I just couldn't leave you there. So when you said that about this is the first time you're raising a 16-year-old, that's exactly what came to my mind. Because at that moment, it's, needing my kid to understand, look, I'm trying to do the best that I can, but I got to make some decisions about you. And every now and then, I am going to have to say, get back in this car. Let's go.
Yeah, for sure.
So I love, because I think that and what that does for our kids is our kids also get to see that we're human beings, right? That we're not perfect, that we're not going to get it right sometimes, and we're going to err on the side of caution, and that's okay too. And I love that because that creates relationship, creates an understanding. And as they get older, like I have a beautiful relationship with my adult children. And so I think for parents that have little kids, I always want to implore them, you know, to just do what you have to do. But remember that the relationship that you're creating is going to be what's going to sustain them in the long run. And it's going to be beautiful. And they're not going to hate you forever.
Right.
Hate you forever.
And it's work. I mean, just like anything good in life, it is work, a relationship, a marriage. I mean, I'm going on 27 years of marriage, and like, you know, I don't always love it so much, but I know that the work is worth it, right? And it's the same with parenting. And oh gosh,
you need a medal. Where is your medal? Where's your medal for 20 years? Show your trophy.
We could do a whole episode on that as well. Like that's a whole other story in itself.
Absolutely. We might just bring you back on for resiliency love, because I think that's amazing. I love that. And what I love about it as well is that parenting, you know, we don't all look the same. We don't all have the same situation. We don't all have the same journey, but we all kind of are coming from the same place. We love our kids. We want them to do well. We want them to be successful. We want to be okay. We want to feel okay. So that's kind of that thing that binds us, you know, and empowerment is really something that we all should strive for. So I really, really appreciate just what you're doing out there now. Please let everybody know where they can find you.
Yes.
And how they can contact you.
Yeah, for sure. And I certainly want, you know, any moms that are listening, you know, as much as we're talking about our kids and, you know, empowering them, I also want to empower moms to take care of themselves. So I focus so much on, if we don't take care of ourselves first, our mindset, our physical, our mental, our spirit, right? All of these things, we can't show up as our best self. And it's okay. I want to empower you, whoever is listening. It is okay for you to have you time. It is okay to ask for that, because your body, you need it. You need it. And so that is one thing as moms that we give up right away. We're like, we'll put that aside. But I just had to say that. It was just on my heart. And so I'm just thinking about whoever's listening.
Thank you. Put your mask on first. Put your mask on first.
Right. Exactly.
How can you how can you help someone if you're not okay? You know?
Right. And then you can
like
teach that. You're teaching that to your kids too, right? It's also a teaching moment. So
you wouldn't jump into the ocean to save a drowning person if you can't swim. Right. So you have to be realistic with yourself as well, right? So I think you're right. Put yourself on the list as a mother. Put yourself on the list.
Yes.
And try to get rid of that guilt. I think we talk about guilt a lot. And I think like that's important as well, is that, you know, to kind of get rid of that as much as you can.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So definitely you can find me, as you did on Instagram at Kim Rogne. It's very easy. KMROGNE. And then I also have a special gift for everybody. I got to look at the website that I created. It is Flow, FLO, workingmoms.com. That's like for love of, flowworkingmoms.com. If you go there, you can download a 16-page condensed version of my For the Love of Self journal. And it was specifically created for working moms. And so it walks you through how to weekly, daily, get your life in order. And at the same time, we could talk for another hour about, our brain and how it's not really our friend. And so how we have to continually work on the positive thoughts in it. And so I wanted to create that so everybody could go and get that. So flowworkingmoms.com and anything kimrogne.com or at kimrogne. And gosh, reach out. Like, I'd love to hear you. I would love to hear what you're going through. And, the more we can hear from each other and lift each other up and support each other and empower each other to first show up for our best self, as our best self, taking care of ourselves, and then doing the best that we can if we are mothers and we're working, and how we can be, if we're 50 and you want to start a new business, reach out to me, because You're never
Listen,
old enough, girlfriends.
you have got to start a 50s, start your own business at 50 club, because I'm sure you're going to have a lot of members in
Oh
there.
my
I'm not
gosh.
kidding either, because listen, that sounds so daunting, but it's not. You did it, and that's
Oh,
amazing.
I
So
can't. I'm just like over the moon energized right now. And I have so much to learn though. Like what I thought I knew, I didn't know, especially when
yeah,
it comes to technology and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
thank you so much
Oh,
for
thank you.
you know,
I cannot thank Tiffany
awesome.
enough for pulling us together. And I look forward to continuing listening to the journey and the mission that you guys are on to make a difference. You really, truly are making a difference. So you do need to hear me and know
Thank
that.
you. Yeah.
Thank you so
So they
much
just
for
want to ask,
being here.
yeah,
Yeah.
we want to ask that you and share us to your networks as well, so we can get
Yeah.
everybody on board. Everybody's on this train, because there's room for everybody.
Yeah, very much so. Thanks, Tiffany.
Yeah. Welcome. This is an inclusive podcast. If you love what you heard today, I'm sure we have another episode that might relate to you, and that's the goal. So all are welcome here. Motherhood is sacred. All versions of it are welcome here to inspire. True stories, our tips, our tricks, our strategies, our heart are here for you. We believe in you, believe in yourselves, and God bless. And we'll see you next episode of the Resilient Mother podcast. Thank you for joining us today. Please don't forget to subscribe so we can share this message. We are a worldwide podcast with guests all around the world, and we want to continue to grow this community. You can find us on socials. You could also be a guest. Look for that link below if you'd be interested in being a guest on the podcast. If you know a sponsor or would like to be a sponsor, please reach out to me or Catherine as well.
Sure. We want you all on this journey. We want to hear your stories. We want to share your stories. We want to gain strength from each other, because together we're stronger. And to never forget the blessing of being a mother and what we're creating. We're creating the future every single day of our lives. So get on this train with us and let's do this thing, moms.
I believe in you, believe in yourself. God bless, and we'll see you around. Take care.